Morning, it is 8:43. Welcome back to Great Day for this Tuesday as we welcome to the desk somebody new to our mix here, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Jankins is here. Mike, you are a bankruptcy attorney.
Correct.
Okay, so first and foremost, tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, I operate the Jankins law firm, and my name is Mike Jankins. I've been in practice for about 32 years.
Wow.
Most of what I do is bankruptcy law and things that are connected with it, foreclosure work, some debt settlement work, and occasionally representing a creditor in bankruptcy, but primarily I represent people that are needing to file.
And what does that mean when you file bankruptcy? What does that mean?
Well, there's different kinds of bankruptcy. You had mentioned dolls while we were off air, and that's a corporate reorganization, so that is a really big type of bankruptcy. For individuals, the term bankruptcy usually means I get to erase my debts.
Okay.
And that's called Chapter 7. And then another kind of bankruptcies that some individuals take is called Chapter 13.
Okay.
And that is where they actually create their own personal payment plan through the court. They kind of consolidate their debt, so they make one payment to the court, and then the court will help them pay and divide out the money. And the interest stops running on their credit cards and unsecured debt. They can use that type of bankruptcy to save their home that's in foreclosure, because whatever they're behind, they can treat that as an individual debt all by itself and pay that back, and they don't need the permission of the mortgage company. They can do it and force it upon the mortgage company as long as they're going to pay it back.
Wow, didn't know that.
Now, I feel you've been in the business, you said 30-some years?
32.
All right. I feel like back in the day, or maybe in just in small town Iowa, when you said you were filing for bankruptcy, it was almost a dirty word. Like people were like, "Oh, they're filing for bankruptcy."
Yeah, because there was this impression that you were kind of robbing from people, like you owed people money, right?
Right. But I feel like it's becoming a little bit more of a common thing. Is that because of the way our economy is going? Is it people realize it's something that could be more helpful than harmful? Have you seen a change in the difference in the 30-some years that you've been in this business?
Yes, and I can even think back to the days when I was growing up and when I had to get my first credit card when I was 18 years old and try to get my first MasterCard, and how hard it was. And now it's so easy, and credit is so available, and it's just a different culture. I don't know that it has to do so much with whether we're having a good economy or a bad economy. It's just that credit is so available, especially credit cards for people, that they just get themselves into trouble, and as a consequence they have to file bankruptcy. And the more and more people that file bankruptcy, the less and less stigma there is, because everybody knows someone that's filed bankruptcy, right, and they made it through okay, and they lived on and happily ever after. So there's millions of people every year filing bankruptcy, so that's why the stigma's gone.
Right. To be fair, there are still quote-unquote victims when a bankruptcy happens. Is that a fair thing to say?
Well, I mean, the victims would be those that don't get paid, so the small businesses in our town or any other town, sure. I call it a cost of doing business. It's going to happen to everybody probably that's in business. I don't consider the credit card companies to be victims, frankly. They got bailed out by the government, all those banks, and no one's bailing out the poor guy out there that just got into trouble. But yeah, people don't get paid, but that's all factored into the credit card companies' major scheme of business every year. They know a certain percent will be
When does somebody know it is time to file bankruptcy?
Well, there's several different things. One, if your wages are being garnished because you let your debts go so far that you've been sued in court and there's a judgment and your wages are being garnished, one, it's embarrassing. Two, it's hard to maintain your household when part of your paycheck's going away for 4 months. Right. So that's a big sign that you at least should go talk to somebody. If at the end of paying your bills every month, your credit card payments, you've got no more money left to buy your groceries and you have to use your credit card, that's a big signal that something's not right, and maybe you should talk to somebody about your finances. If your home's in a foreclosure, it's either because you've lost your job and can't afford it anymore, or you're paying other things that are for some reason taking more priority than paying your house payment, and so now you're losing your home. That would be a real good signal that maybe you should go talk to a lawyer, at least see what kind of things could be done to patch up your situation and get it back on the right track.
Can you pick and choose? Let's say you're in debt to a friend or two, or you've got a business friend, and can you pick and choose who gets paid back to some extent?
Well, after a person files a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, even though the law may extinguish the debt, they can still voluntarily pay it if they wish to. Legally, the debt may be gone, but if they feel very, that the debt's very important and they want to pay it, they can. Sometimes that happens with a person's family doctor or somebody like that, and it's not a really large sum of money. Some people feel beholden to their credit unions, and they may have a credit card with the credit union, and they just want to make sure that the credit union gets taken care of. So they can still pay it after they file the bankruptcy. The debt's gone, though, and it can't be enforced. So in that way, they can pick and choose. Credit cards will always be canceled when you file your bankruptcy. Sometimes people think they're going to sneak one by and not put it on their bankruptcy and not tell me when I'm preparing their case, and then they get a letter from the credit card company about a month after we file their case, and they go, my account got canceled, I wanted to keep that one, what do I do about it now? And we say, well, you should have put it on your case like you were told to, and we would, because that's what was going to happen. They didn't get notice of the bankruptcy. It's just that the credit bureaus report that, and the credit card companies monitor all their customers' credit reports each month. And so when they see it, they write a letter to their customers saying, we're closing your account because you filed the bankruptcy.
Yeah, there's a paper trail.
And so they just do it, and so then we end up adding it on. So they can't pick and choose on those. Now, when you're filing bankruptcy, there are some debts that are important debts that some people want to keep and actually have it come out of the bankruptcy, so it'll be a live debt. Those would be your home loan, your car loans if you want to keep those, and often a person will sign what I call a bankruptcy contract. The legal word is called reaffirmation agreement, and it has to be approved by the judge. The person essentially has to show the judge, the attorney has to sign the document saying if they sign this, it's not going to be a big hardship for the person to continue to pay it after their bankruptcy is over. So when we prepare the budget information in their bankruptcy filing, which is their income each month and their living expenses, it's very important that it shows that with the payments they want to pay, that they are flush and not underwater in their budget or in the hole.
So you can pick and choose a couple of things. But one thing that doesn't go away is student loans, correct?
Correct. Well, generally, they never go away. Some people read things about, oh, I read that these could go away. The standard is you have to prove to the court that it causes an undue hardship. And the wording isn't nearly as difficult as the application. The interpretation by the courts is it's close to impossible to get out of those. You have to show that you are almost completely incapable of employment, mostly due to complete disability.
Gotcha.
I was going to ask you do you need an attorney, but now that you've been here for a few minutes, it sounds like you do need an attorney.
Most definitely, yeah. And if people want to get more information about your practice in general, how do they find your practice on the website?
Well, they can find us on the internet at www.iowa-bankruptcylaw.com, or they can simply call my office at 255-1855, and we're happy to give a free consultation.
I was going to say, I see there on there that you do give a free consultation, so if people just want to talk and see if this is the option for them, because it might not be. It might sound good, but if it's like, maybe I don't want to go through all that, or maybe this is the right thing I need to do, you can do that absolutely free.
Yeah, we try to explain what they can do, and if they decide they want to file bankruptcy, that's great. We explain their other options. We give them some advice that they can use to maybe keep themselves out of bankruptcy. But often the case would be that they probably should, and some people are afraid to come in or even call because they go, oh, if I do this, I'm filing bankruptcy, and they're not. They're just getting information.
Okay. Right, so I'm glad you came here because we did some research, and it turns out most of our audience is bankrupt. So.
Morally, or
what are you talking about?
When we come back, we're going to talk about the pluses and minuses of filing bankruptcy, because I know there's some stigmas attached to filing bankruptcy and the truths about those too. So wonderful. Thank you very much for coming over. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. 8:52.